welcome to the Solid Signal podcast for March 4th, 2013. The year sure is flying by, tell you that much. Today we're going to bring you up to speed on AutoHop, the technology that Dish uses to skip commercials in network programming, and how they're being sued by pretty much every network out there. Before we start, it's only fair to mention that Solid Signal is a Dish authorized retailer. At some point this is all going to get solved in court, but in the meantime, both parties are going back and forth with a series of moves that are a little bit unconventional. Things heated up about 2 weeks ago when Fox sought an injunction against Dish's Hopper with Sling. They were saying that the Sling technology violated pretty much every retransmission agreement that they had. It's up to a judge to decide. In the meantime, all four major networks, and yes, that includes NBC, even though they're technically number 5, decided that they were no longer going to accept Dish advertising. That's a huge step. Dish decided to fire back in two unconventional ways. Dish debuted its almost ad-free card, just says Dish on it and a hashtag and a couple of very small other ads. And anytime that car is seen on television, that's an ad for Dish. In a sort of an underhanded move, they made it car number 95, which is the same car number as that Lightning McQueen character in Cars. Remember, Cars is owned by Disney, ABC is owned by Disney. Just a little kick in the ankle there. Things got a little bit more dodgy, and I apologize, this is hard to follow. Dish hired Big Bang Theory star Kaley Cuoco to tweet about the Hopper commercials, and then apparently that tweet was taken down. A lot of people think that CBS asked for it to be taken down, although they deny it. It's still kind of in flux. It's still moving around. The end result was a lot of free advertising for Dish and a lot of negative advertising for CBS, who has looked pretty bad in this whole AutoHop fight because they've been accused of editorial interference by telling their subsidiary CNET that it wasn't okay to vote the Hopper with Sling Best in Show at CES. Now, I can understand if you're confused and didn't get all that, but what you do need to know is that both companies are maneuvering around in ways that I don't think anybody really expected, and that may not be a good thing. What worries me most is this whole injunction that Fox is seeking against Sling technology. For those who aren't familiar with the idea, what this does is take the programming that's on your receiver and retransmit it live over the internet. Is it legal? That's up to a court to decide, and prior to this technology has been around for almost a decade without anybody really testing it in court. It seems like it could be dicey, it's not sure, but really, this is kind of like that old movie War Games, where everybody would have been better off if nobody started this game. The one thing that seems pretty clear to us over at the Solid Signal blog is that no matter what the outcome is going to be, it's not going to be customer friendly. Customer friendly would have been keeping this out of the courts and just letting the market decide. But, on the other hand, I suppose broadcasters do have rights to control what they put out there. It's just, it seems to me if these content providers weren't out there charging so much money for what they do, for a product that really, in a lot of cases, is subpar, NBC, then, well, maybe nobody would have this kind of fight. It's also recently been brought up that back in the 1960s, if you sat down to watch an hour of live TV, you got 51 minutes of actual content. You also got a decent theme song, you got to read the credits, which some people actually like, and now, at most, you're getting 42 minutes of content with a smushed down theme song, credits in little tiny letters. That it's just driving people a little bit nuts. Of course they want to skip through commercials if you're talking about, and I am not kidding, 18 minutes of commercials an hour. If the parties involved would just sit down and think about what really benefits the customer, not just what really benefits their bottom lines, I think this whole thing could go away quickly. In the meantime, these broadcasters are acting like they're the only game in town and they haven't heard of something called the Internet. What do you folks think? Do you think Dish is right? Do you think Fox is right? Do you think Kaley Cuoco is right? Leave us some comments. Let us know. Also, as always, if you have topics for future Solid Signal podcasts, drop us a line. Just go to Solid Signal blog at blog.solidsignal.com, scroll all the way down to the Contact Us link. Until then, have a great week.